Hey guys, welcome to Financial Health and Wealth, where we educate you in various ways to improve your life financially and to live long, healthy lives. So today we're going to talk about how the latest stimulus update is extending student loan forbearance. And if you'd like to see more of this type of content, then like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you know about future videos. So let's get started. In one of his first moves in office, President Biden directed the Department of Education on Wednesday to extend the payment pause for federal student loan borrowers until at least October of 2021. Biden's executive order is a continuation of a relief that's been in place since the CARES Act passed in March of 2020, giving 42 million student loan borrowers a break from making their monthly payments and accruing interest during the pandemic. The benefit was originally set to expire in September, but was extended by the Trump administration until January 31st of this year. Borrowers will not have to make payments until October 1st at the earliest, extending the already unprecedented pause on payments by 8 months. Both the pause on payments and interest waiver is automatic, but it only applies to federally held loans. That covers roughly 85% of all federal student loans, including those known as direct federal loans and PLUS loans that parents have taken out on behalf of their children. It excludes some federal loans that are guaranteed by the government but not technically held by it. Generally, those were disbursed prior to 2010. Balances were frozen in March of 2020, though borrowers are allowed to continue making payments. Those enrolled in the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Payment Plan will still receive credit as if they had continued paying, as long as they are still working full-time for qualifying employers. For years, bean counters at the Department of Education have been writing down the value of its $1.4 trillion portfolio of student debt as they adapted ever more pessimistic views of how much borrowers will repay. In September of 2020, the analysts made their biggest adjustment yet, valuing loans at just 82 cents on every dollar owed, down from 104 cents in 2015. The debt is now worth $258 billion less than the amount outstanding. Had officials under Education Secretary Betsy DeVos decided to identify some of the borrowers least likely to repay and then forgive those debts, it wouldn't have put a major dent in the remaining portfolio's value. Such losses were theoretically already reflected anyway. By Wall Street standards, the government's loan write-downs are gigantic, amounting to $98 billion in September alone. While they have gone virtually unnoticed in the political realm so far, they are almost sure to attract attention now, as consumer advocates urge Biden's new administration to ease the burden on young professionals and jumpstart the pandemic-stricken economy. Department data shows that about 24 million borrowers have stopped making payments. Some are starting to ask, if the government doesn't expect to collect hundreds of billions of dollars from the borrowers, then why not try to erase it now? Now, Biden has expressed sympathy for borrowers, but suggested he's reluctant to wipe away debt without an act of Congress. In November, he said student loan burdens are holding people up, and they're in real trouble, and they're having to make choices between paying their student loans and paying their rent. While Wall Street often values its debt holdings based on the prices they would fetch in the market, the government's markdowns mainly reflect amounts not expected to be recovered. And from a valuation perspective, that means there wouldn't be much immediate difference between forgiving doomed loans and waiting for borrowers to turn out their empty pockets. So what should cash-strapped borrowers do? Well, the continued interest-free freeze on federal student loan payments means that you don't have to make your monthly payments through at least September of 2021, and any interest accrued during the suspension will also be waived. Borrowers who are still facing financial hardships brought on by the pandemic should put the extra money they're saving towards high-priority bills that impact their survival, like housing and utilities. It's also worth taking advantage of this 0% interest period if you're juggling other debt. If you can afford your basics, use the extra money to pay down outstanding balances on high-interest debt. Because credit cards charge double-digit interest rates, carrying a balance becomes expensive. Most card issuers compound interest on a daily basis, so interest is added to your balance at the end of every day. The typical monthly student loan payment ranges between $200 and $299 according to the Federal Reserve. During this forbearance period, you can use that extra $200 or so each month to make a dent in your credit card balances. Given the additional 8 months of relief through September of 2021, that frees up anywhere from $1,600 to nearly $2,400. Now, that's depending on your monthly federal loan payment, and that could go towards other debt. Here's what borrowers who aren't worried about their finances should do. If you don't have any high interest debt, and you do have an emergency fund, you should continue to make your student loan payments. With the interest rate set to 0 for the duration of the payment pause and the interest waiver combined, any payments that you make on eligible federal loans will go entirely to chipping away at the principal balance. Use this time to see what private lenders offer for refinancing so you know your options when the payment pause ends. If you pay your loans down substantially from now through September, you might have a small enough balance left over that refinancing could benefit you at that time. Note that when you refinance with a private lender, you opt out of federal protections. These protections include the ability to qualify for income-based repayment plans, economic hardship forbearance, and possible federal student loan forgiveness. So the bottom line is if you're still financially struggling from the economic fallout of the pandemic, use these next 8 months to take care of higher priority bills or your more expensive debt like outstanding credit card balances. I would recommend that borrowers need to take advantage of the increased savings and build an emergency fund or start making extra payments on other types of debt and be ready to start making student loan payments again as soon as October. Thanks for watching, and as always, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and to keep getting future content, go ahead and tap that notification bell while you're at it. Enjoy the rest of your day.